targets? Yes. But we can proceed if to see the other ports running on this machine. And let's see if you can see my notes properly. We can see that I did a scan earlier, and this is the result from the scan. We could see that port 22 is running, and when you talk about port 22, the service running on port 22 is SSH. And if from our networking class, we know what SSH is, and the next port running was 80, which is HTTP, running Apache Server 2.4.4.41, running Linux system, which is a Ubuntu system that is running. And however, we also realize that there's another port that is 2112 and it's running an FTP server. So what can we do? First, well, we can go about by trying to take the ports one by one to see what is happening. I would advise you to go with port 22 first because you might not be able to use that end to get into the system. So first thing you can do on the machine is probably target the port 80, see what is running on that kind of web server or whatever is running in there. Then we can all know what to do. So please, let's target the port 80. So, okay, I have so many things open. Let me get a new tab. Okay, so this is the IP we are dealing with. Okay. Okay, so this is the site that we landed on from the port 80. Please, in case you don't see the port 80 here, whenever we get an IP without the default website, a web browser is 80. That's HTTP, and HTTPS is 443, and we all know that from the networking class. So we have this site showing here. It's telling us that at the moment there's nothing. The site's under construction to make you wait. Here is a photo of a potato. What else can I do? Probably I'll look at the source code to see what is happening in here. And it looks like there's nothing going on in the source code. When you try to inspect the page, nothing interesting also shows up. Nothing interesting also shows up in the, when you try to inspect it, because more or less like the source code we just viewed. So what else can I do? Maybe I will try and do directory brute force for hidden directories to see are there any other directories that the person who created the system has hidden that I'm not seeing at this point in time. So let's do some directory brute force. So yes, okay, this is telling me some nonsense here. Okay, it's telling me some things that I'm supposed to be seeing. Well, let me reduce size and let me run this scan up again. I don't know why it's messing up though. Okay, so it's now discovering the ports. I don't know why the first scan didn't give us anything good. So now let's do the directory brute force. Directory brute forcing is just basically trying to use a tool to find other hidden directories. When you're talking about directory, you're talking about folders, directories, other places in the system that we are not seeing at a point in time, that kind of thing. So I'll be using this tool called Ferrobuster. Ferrobuster is similar to DEP, it's similar to GoBuster and other tools that are out there that we are already using for directory brute forcing. We have so many tools out there. Getting a tool to use all depends on how comfortable and how you think this tool works best for you. Every tool has its downside, so what works best for you as a pen tester is what you'll be using. Okay, so and the Ferrobuster comes with a tag U. The tag U is just basically asking you for you to specify the URL. So we are specifying this URL and allowing it to run. Okay. Don't know why it's okay. Okay, so it's beginning to run. And let's see what we have here. And look at this. The first thing that came up was telling me that there's a directory that is called admin. Admin is up. Okay, let's see. Let's wait for the directory search to finish and let's see if we get any other hidden directories or interesting directories out here. So we have admin. Admin is also still is running. Let's check on our previous scan to see. It discovered the port 22 as we saw from my previous scan I did already because I knew it was going to take time. So I tried to do a note to see if we get stuck, then we can refer to that. So 22 is still running. We're now at 48%. Okay, so we have another one called admin, and inside admin we have another directory called the logs. Interesting. So let's see what will happen. We can try visiting the admin page to see what's there. Admin. And lo and behold, we have a login page. What can I use this login page for? Maybe I'll try some default credentials in here. Admin. And it's telling me bad user or password, nothing, it doesn't work. And looking at this, maybe I'll think of maybe SQL injection or something to maybe I'll throw in a character to test this. But let's see what comes up. Also returned nothing. So from here going, nothing is coming up yet. Okay. And it looks like we are still running this and we are still on this. Okay. So what if we explore the other FTP and look at the FTP scan? It looks like we have anonymous login onto this FTP server. So let's try logging into this FTP server to see as the other scans run in the background. Let's see what else we can find on the system. Okay, let me just get a new tab and allow this to run freely. So we have FTP. Let me get the IP again. FTP. And please note, FTP is running on port 21, but here is the case in our scan, it didn't say it was running on port 21. The service is running on port 2112. So if I'm to specify, let me see, just this. If I'm to specify this without any port, it's going to tell me, it's going to throw an error, it's refusing the connection. But if I'm to kill this and go back with the specified port that the service is running on, I think we'll get something in here. So now it's telling me anonymous. Okay, so now we are on the FTP server. Let's see what's in here. And here we are. We found two different files in here. And let's see if we can download these files onto our local machine, analyze them and see what they hold. So get index, okay. Think this server, okay, index. And we are downloading the index.php.backup, get welcome message. Okay. So that's all that we found on the FTP server. Nothing else, nothing interesting, again, was on the server. So I think we can, I don't know if you guys can see. Okay, so we now have the other, we have the index.php.backup on the system. Get index, oh, sorry. So gedit index. Okay. Okay, if you can see this is where something interesting caught my mind. Looking at this PHP code, in PHP we have what we call the loose comparison and the strict comparison. When we are talking about loose comparison and strict comparison, in PHP has this kind of comparison where they use double equal to assign something to trying to compare something. But when you use that, let me see if I can illustrate that for you with some PHP code. PHP. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that let's assume we have let's say if A is a string, A equals A. So this is what we call the loose comparison. This is what we call the loose comparison, and echo success if this is actually true. So when we terminate this, and you see this is loose type kind of how do we call it? With the loose comparison, what happens is that it just compares what is holding, not the content of the whatever is in there. So if you have to call as assign a variable to any kind of value, a value to a variable, and it doesn't check the content PHP does to fight work for that kind of loose comparison is when we come in with the street comparison. So assuming that I make this true, let's see what will happen here. It's still telling me success, though A is never equal to true. It's telling me success. What is that? The reason of this happening is that it's because of the loose comparison in here. But in the case where we go with the street comparison, let's see what will happen. The street comparison. You see, it didn't execute. It didn't execute because I've taken care of that loose comparison in there. So it's now trying to compare the content of whatever is comparing both sides properly to see, okay, this is what I'm talking about, the A and the true. They are not equal. So with loose comparison, we just hold the content. Okay, they are both strings. Okay, they are true. It's fine. We are going on. But with street comparison, it compares the content of whatever those two values are to see if they're actually equal before it echoes out maybe a success or if it's a true or false condition. And this is where you guys could read around PHP type juggling and you understand better. I didn't have some resource on that. I can leave that in the chat session where you guys would you can get this. I was watching some video earlier, so yep, I think I can drop that in the chat for you guys to have a good understanding of what the PHP type juggling is and all those kind of things. Okay, so now let's proceed. What can we do here? So first things first, to understand what exactly is going behind that kind of login page, I took in this. And for us to know something, whenever we are dealing with this kind of vulnerabilities and we see all this kind of thing, and when we go back to our code here, there's this string compare. String compare is using the loose compare PHP kind of comparison here. So you can see that there's a way to bypass the string compare loose type of comparison. So the next thing that came to mind is, what can I do? So the next thing you do is, it's all about research, it's all about Googling, it's all about asking the questions. The AIs are there, you can ask them the question, okay, what is this? What am I saying? So the first thing that came to my mind was string compare bypass. String compare bypass. And I saw so many things coming up here explaining. The one that I actually found interesting, I think, was this. Yes. So this was explaining so much about how to bypass the string compare vulnerability and all those kind of things. So there's something about string compare vulnerability. Whenever you pass in an empty array, with an empty array, it automatically interprets that as 0. So 0 becomes your now, and this is what we're talking about. So when you provide it with an empty array, the string compare is going to return to you now. And due to the weakness in the loose comparison, what happens is that now will be interpreted as 0, then automatically will become true, and you end up bypassing the authentication measures being put in place. So let's intercept the traffic from the login page and let's see. Okay, our website is almost up. So let's go back to our login page. We have this login page. We don't know what's running in there. Let's see if we submit admin. Before you use Bepsy is just a tool that serves as a proxy between whatever system you are dealing with and the other service running out there. So if you have to set up proxy, like I'm trying to repeat the word proxy again. When it's set up Bepsy and it's running in the background of your work or whatever you are doing, what happens is that, okay, fine, it's going to capture all the traffics coming in and out of your system, and at the end of the day, you end up saying, okay, this is what is running. Okay, I got a post request, I got a get request, I got this request, and what is happening behind the scene? So let's see what is happening here. Okay, let me go back and see if our scans are done. Good. So you see from this, now we can confirm that the note I'm showing to you is not something I just created. So our scans are now showing that the IP, the services running are up here, and we already exploited all those kind of things. And also our directory search has paused, and we are still at the admin and the admin logs. So let's see what's happening in our web suite, and let's see what we can. So for me to capture the packet coming in and out of this, first thing, intercepting the traffic. I'm going to turn my intercept on, and please, you can find resources on how to configure what I'm coming to use here, BEP. So BEP is the proxy you are setting up, and it's running on port 8080 for me. So you can just Google how to set up BEP proxy and Firefox or whatever browser you're using, and you'll be fine. So I'm going to capture this. I'm intercepting this traffic coming in. Okay, so automatically it came out here for us, and so now we have this kind of traffic coming in, and so let's send it to what we call the repeater. Repeater is just another feature of the web suite that allows you to view or see simultaneously or concurrently what exactly is happening. You run this, so if we are to execute this and you see a response will come up, yes, bad password is here, like what we got from the website itself. It's still telling us bad. So render, they're just different modes. These are different modes that in which you can present your site. So you see it's giving us what is from the website. So this gives us what is on the website, the design and everything. But this gives, so you see it's written in code for you, and you are seeing the backside, the traffic going in, the HTTP, the status code and all those kind of things. They're seeing yourself and everything running for you. So what can we do? If you remember what I showed to you in there, for us to bypass what we call the string compare variability due to the weaknesses in the loose comparison, we are going to set in an empty array. And setting an empty array, we are going to be using this payload. But this payload you are looking out here, this payload, this particular thing, is just an empty string and an empty code that has been encoded. So it's URL encoded. I try to understand better to make things easier for you guys to understand. So here we are. If we decode this, you see we just got empty codes. So now let's try the payload that we found from this person's explanation. Okay, what is that? Okay, so let's go back to this. So now we're going to try to abuse the PHP juggling. That is the weakness in the loose comparison. So we are passing an empty array. An empty array, what else are we going to pass in there? So let's see if this works. So this is this. Yeah, you can URL encode this here too. See if you are on the right track and or whatever you think you are doing. Yes, or characters. And look at this. When I URL encoded, I got the same thing. So it's not any strange thing to us. So let's forward this and see the reply we'll get now. And look at this. It's telling us now that, oh, okay. Look at the response is different from what we got. We've not gotten what that error again. We've not gotten the bad username or password again. And let's go back to this code that we were dealing with. Look at the code. The code says that if the username and password is correct, then you should what? Go to it gives a reply. Welcome, and you are welcome to the dashboard. You are being welcome or ushered to the dashboard. So let's see from our browser if something of that sort have happened yet. Okay, it hasn't happened yet. Let's see. Sometimes, I don't know, my web is annoying, so I prefer to forward my request right from here. So let me do it right from here. Let's see what is going to happen. And let's forward this request and expect what will happen. And here we go. So now when you click on this, let me kill this. Let me disable this. Okay. When we click on this, you'll be sent to. And now with login, we have been able to bypass the login without a password. We've been able to exploit the vulnerability in the PHP loose comparison to be able to get on the system as an admin, even though we didn't have a password. So asking yourself now, how interesting is this? I didn't have a password. I didn't reuse a username or something. I just tried to understand what is the system running. So sometimes people may ask, how did you even realize that it was a PHP that was running at the background or something? There are so many things in the process of scanning and all that you come to see, you come across so many things. So let's see, sometimes you can use this to Webalizer. Yes, look at Webalizer is a tool that helps you to develop, discover the technologies running on a system. So even if from the very beginning that we got the website, you could have used this tool. It's a plugin. When you set it up in your browser, it helps to tell you the various technologies that are running on this particular site. So look at this. We have programming language, and in here we are PHP is running. Operating system, like we discovered from our scan, is running. Apache server is running. Excuse me, please. Sorry for the break. Okay, so here we are. We see that okay, PHP is running in here. So this is one way that you could be able to determine the kind of language or technologies that are being used on the system. And let's explore this kind of things. So let's see what we get. Okay, it just tells us there's a user admin which you already discovered from the source code we found on the system, and we have a date. Okay, the date is basically give us a real-time date of whatever is like today's date, the time, the time zone, and the year. And we have another thing called the logs. And we have logs here. What are the logs for? Let's see if we try to get logs. Let's see what will come up. Okay, so this is what the log says. The log says this and operation password change. August 2nd. So again, August 2nd, 2020, there was a password change. That's what the log is saying. The first log, nothing interesting with the user. And the next one we have here is operation was reboot the server. So the server was rebooted on 9 January 2020 at 5 a.m. And the person who did it was the admin. And we have another log file here. Let's see what's in the password chain. Nothing interesting. But sometimes the way we see things here are not the way the web suite sees it. So let's intercept this traffic or packet and see whatever is also running in there. I like to do that a lot sometimes. So interestingly, we start this again. Let's see if I try to get any of this. Let's see what it returns. Okay, interesting. So it gave me whatever is running in here, and so there was a page called the log, and we discovered that log from the directory brute force we did. So that there was a logs file in the admin's directory. So look, this is what I'm trying to refer to in case you are not getting here. So in the admin directory, there was another directory in there that was logs in the directory listing, and we saw this in there too. So we have this, and what's happening? Sometimes you see these things and you don't know what to do next. But sometimes when you see a test file, the first thing that comes to my mind is local file inclusion. What is local file inclusion? Local file inclusion is when you are able to read files in the system by using, maybe you are going to traverse to the roots of the system or whatever is the system that's running, and you're able to get onto another directory that you are not allowed to or get into at a point in time. So you can do a quick search on local file inclusion. Let's see what we get. Local file inclusion, LFI. And yes, there are so many resources, and I think this will do a good job explaining what LFI it is to you, how to exploit, and to get more knowledge, because I can give you all the information on local file inclusion right here. There are so many things that goes into understanding of local file inclusion, how to use it. RFI also comes in, and so many things come in there. So I'll leave this also in the chat for us, so that we do the extra homework on that, so that you should be fine. Thank you. Okay, so we have that. So now what are we looking at here? What are we looking at here? Well, I try to see, let's see what is happening. I sent it in and okay, let's wait for the response. It's still sending. I don't know why it's taking time today though. Okay, so it's back, and it's just telling me what was in the file from the very beginning. Operation password change, August 2nd, 20, that kind of crap we saw from the very first time. So now let's try to use the local file inclusion technique here to see which other files can we read. And as a pen tester, when you are doing something, you want to target files that are interesting, files that will bring out interesting information to you. So I always try to look out for the password file. And the password file is a file that holds the usernames and passwords of the client.
Yeah. Is it possible to increase your font size? Like,
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry. Let me see if this is going to work. Okay. Wow. What's the preference view or something? Please give me a minute to figure the font size out. Sorry for the delay.
I think Control Plus should work well.
Please come again.
That's for terminal.
Yeah.
Is someone saying something?
I'm trying to.
I was saying, I think Control Plus should work, but I don't know if it works for you.
Yeah, with the
Come
big
again?
sheets, it's not manageable. You guys should manage it.
Oh, I didn't know it was for BEP she was trying to do it, increase the size.
Yeah.
I tried the font tried to be increased by it seems they just increase the whole font of the other stuffs and not the can we see? Can we see from
Yes.
this? Okay, then let's manage this because I tried to increase but it looks like I just increase the other side. So let's try to see if we can read other files on the system, which we are not supposed to be reading in the first place. Let me see how many of them work for us to get to the root. Let's send this and see. Okay, we have to wait for our dear Bepsi to do it then and bring us a good response if possible.
Right. So, any
It's taking
questions?
some seconds. Let's wait then. I don't know why it's taking time today, though. I don't know. Okay, so why are you taking forever today? Please, just come. Okay. This thing is this bitch is trying to disgrace me today.
Let's just have a small discussion while we wait for it. So,
Yes, so
I-
what happened is that I think Maxim can lead the discussion, so I focus on how to get this come up. It's trying to disgrace me.
oh, don't worry, you're fine. This thing happens. Like, I mean,
Yeah, they are machines and they just happen. You don't expect them.
yeah. So, I hope everyone is following and understands what we are doing here. Like, if there are any questions, you can ask. So, what is happening here is that
This thing is trying to disgrace me.
we first began by doing a pod scan. So normally when you are given like a target to hack, right, the only way you can get access to the target is through like the ports or the open ports on the target, right? So the first thing we do is to do a port scan to see the kind of open ports that are on the particular machine and see how we can interact with it. Right. Now upon doing that scan, we realized that there was this FTP port open and then there's another website running on another port, right? We checked the FTP and then we realized that the FTP allows anonymous login. Now, what anonymous login is that like it helps you to be able to share files without without the user specifically having credentials, right? So let's say you want to share a file with a friend, right? But you don't want the friend to be like you don't want the friend to have to log in into your FTP server to be able to get the files, right? So you can just allow anonymous login, or you want to share some particular files with the public, right? You don't want to now have to share credentials to the public for them to access that file. Right? If you have anonymous login, you can just do that straight. So that was what happened over there. But it looks like someone backed up the source code for that website. So it's a PHP website, right? Someone backed up the source code for the website on the FTP server, right, and left it on the FTP server. The mistake over here is that it is now public. Like we, the attackers, can have access to that particular website source code, right? The backup of the website source code. So after looking through the backup, we're able to find what's the name? We're able to find the source code, and then we're able to detect what it could be vulnerable to, right? Just by looking at the code. Right. I think our response has come in, so we'll just proceed from here.
Okay. Thank you, Maxam, for explaining. Okay, my response has disappeared again. I thought you guys, I think you guys have seen it. It just disappeared again. I don't know what's going on. Yes, there's something happening. I think my house put after me. Okay, so it's back again. So when we look at the password file, it is this password file, the username files back, or the password file on the Linux systems. We see we have root, we have other users on the system. But what is really interesting is this web admin. Look at the web admin side. We have this web admin, and looks like a username and a hash that was on the system. So let's copy this and let's see what is that. And let me keep it in some notes. Let me just keep it down up here so that we all see it clearly. So we have like a username, and this is trying to show the hash type, the username, and the actual hash that we are going to be dealing with. So I normally use this first part of the whole hash to discover the type of hash I'm dealing with. So let's see. Let me use this hashcat wiki examples. So you can use hashcat, and hashcat is a tool that is being used to crack password hashes. That's basically the use of hashcat. So let's see what is this. Okay, so it's telling us that it's MD5 and this MD5 crypt and MD5 Unix and all this kind of thing here. So we know the type of hash we are dealing with now. But I don't know how long. My hashcat was taking forever, so I'll prefer to use John today again to crack this particular hash. So please take a little bit close look at this. This is the username. The only thing we are interested in here is from here to here. This is the hash we're coming to crack. That's it. Okay. So yeah, let's hope it works. That's all. So let's go back to our terminal, and I think we can exit this to use this part. So John, okay, let me increase this so that we can all see. John, let me see if this hash has it, or so I can use this file. Okay, so this is a full hash. Let's see if it works. I don't know, but we will try and see if it works. Fine. Let's see. Okay, there's no password, so let me use just the hash. Let me go back to my web sheet and see what I'm missing. Okay. Let me try just the hash and let's see what will happen.
No, I think the problem is that you've already had that hash, and it's
okay. So it's in the port file.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not even picking just this. So please bear with me. I don't want to crack it again. Bear with me. I've already cracked it, and it's giving me some problems here. Okay, so this is it. Basically, this is the hash, the same hash I use, and this is the content and everything here. It's called Dragon, and Dragon is what we're using. And now we are going to chance upon an alert service that we found earlier, which is the SSH. So we got a username from this file reading web admin, and now we have something like a password or a passphrase. Yeah. and you're going to use it to log into the SSH. We're going to use that and SSH login to see if you'll be able to get access to the box. SSH web admin. Please, if you can see my terminal, let me know. Okay, with me it looks fine, but with you, I don't know how it's looking at your end. Okay, so this is the IP we are using. Okay. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Let's see. Okay, so it's asking us for something. Yeah. Yes, we want to continue connecting. Password, and let's use the passwords we just grabbed. Dragon. And fingers crossed, let's see if you, and just as the way we predicted, we're able to get initial foothold on the system. So now, as a low user, you've gotten your first access to the system. What comes to mind? Let's explore the system. Let's get some self-awareness. Let's see, where are we on the system? We are in the home users directory and the web admin user. Okay, so our self-awareness, we get that. Yeah, okay, I'm in the home already. I'm not in some directory that I don't even know where I am. Let's see what's here. Okay, so in this kind of directory, we can see that, okay, we have the flag here. If you're interested in the flag here, you can cut the user.txt file and yeah, you get a flag. Oh, okay, the flag is in another file, local. So now let's cut, sorry. Local. On offset, they keep their user flags in the local.txt file, but other systems are user.txt. And there we are. We found the first flag if you're interested in the flag. But the takeaway so far from whatever we've done here is that we've gotten to understand the system, that okay, the authentication can be abused by the string compare vulnerability within the loose string comparison and all those kind of things. We understand that, and the next thing that we came to understand is that okay, if I see some stuff I need to explore, think through it. LFI could be exploited. Excuse me, please. Sorry. So we could see that okay, LFI could be exploited and all those kind of things. Yeah, so that's nice, and we look at things from that angle, and we are fine. So now I've gotten initial foothold on the system. What's the next thing I'll be thinking of? What should I be doing? I don't need to just be on this low level. Let's assume you are in your office and you're able to get access to and your co-workers or your colleagues' machine, but on the CEO's machine, then I'll be able to get more interesting information. So all these things, we look at it, you understand it. Okay, what next can I do? So now we're going to be looking at how can I get access on a higher privilege to get a higher access on the machine, and whatever I want to do. You can shut down the system, you can log people out, you can create your own, do whatever you want to do on that system. Yeah. So let's see first. Let's see if whatever this will even give. Sudo tag L. Okay, sorry. And sudo tag L is one of the ways to see the sudo users file, what the privileges that people have on the system, to see what files can they run, what can they do, and yeah, on the privileges that they have. So here we are, we can see that the web admin has the access to run the binary nines with a directory note without a password. So we can actually try to figure out what is the nines binary, what does it do? And reading around the nines binary, or you can try and use maybe man nines. Let's see what it gives us. Let me quit this so that we get a full. So now we are trying to understand, run a program with a modified scheduling priority. So it looks like this nines binary is used for some scheduling kind of process and all those kind of things. But what do I need to know about this? Well, let me run this nines binary. Let's see whatever it says. We say you can run it without any password. Yeah, you have the access. So let's see what will happen if we are just to run this nines with the notes. Let's see. With the notes, with the notes and using the wildcard. Yeah, something of that sort. And it just clears my styles, which I don't understand what is going on. So let's see in the notes directory what is in there, what exactly is in there that's making all this thing work. And it looks like we have clear and ID. So the same codes I ran earlier, what if I run this with id.sh? What will it give me? What will it give me? And it's printing out the ID for me, which is the root. So basically, these two scripts in here, one is just clearing and one is just running the ID. So basically, it looks like if anything that is in this node directory, the moment it's in the node directory, when I'll be able to use a nice binary to execute it. So what if I try to still utilize a little bit of LFI here? Not LFI, but that's how I understood it from whatever I'm doing in this machine. I'm trying to outdate myself out of the directory and get back in so I could be able to run bin bash. That's what I did. The understanding I get. Maybe if I'm done, if Masam has a better understanding of how this thing is happening, then we could get a better explanation from that. So what I did was I tried to see, let me leave this directory. So I tried to run, I realized that this nice directory is just clearing and giving me ID. Okay, fine. If I'm able to put bin bash in this node directory, they said you can run anything in the node directory at all, and I'll be able to become root. So fine, what if I do this? And I tried several methods. I tried to create some files like bin bash. I think it didn't work, but what worked is I tried to run the nice binary again, with my notes, which they already made it clear to me that I can run anything in the notes. The wildcard means any other thing in that node directory. Yes, in there. And let's see, what if I'm now leaving this directory. So, you know, when you do CD, let's look at this. Let me quit this. Let's look at this. I'm in potato right now. If I'm to do CD one backwards, I'll be moved to another direction that is outside. So it's like I'm moving backwards. So now I'm now in the potato directory. If I'm to move again, I'll be moving one step back to OSCP. So that's the same analogy I try to use in this kind of boss. So I try to look at it, okay, I'm in the node directory. Yeah, fine. There's been bash binary already on Linux. What if I try to use that? Yeah. So now I'm no longer in the node, but I'm trying to get to the root. I've left node. So I'm now in the roots kind of thing. And I run bin bash, the bin bash binary. Let's see if it will pick. And voila, I'm root. So is the ideology here? The analogy I'm using is that, yes, this I can run anything with node and anything in the node path and anything that node direction. But what if I try to make the machine understand that, yes, I'm running the node, but what happened is that I'm leaving this node and going to the root. The moment I leave it, I'm moving to another direction that is backwards, and I'm running the whole binary, the bash, which is in the bin directory, and I'm being landed in roots, and that's it. So now, who am I? Who am I? And I am root, and we can move to the root directory. The last flag, if you are still interested in flags. But I wanted us to understand what is happening. So yeah, now we are done with the whole machine. So at this stage of you compromising the machine, at this stage you are able to do anything because you are now the sole owner of the machine. You are the root. You are the highest privileged owner on this kind of machine. So whenever you put on a box or you in a real life environment and you are able to get access to the root or the admin, then you're able to do any other thing on the system. The same applies to when it comes to Windows, a domain controller, able to compromise the whole domain controller and everything. Then yes, you are the admin on that server, and you're able to do any other thing on the system. Yes, and that's what we have for today. If Maxam have any top up, yeah, to explain better more how this previous is working, I'll be grateful for him to share his idea on this. But if any other person who is on the page that sees that, okay, I've realized that this is what is happening here, and this the idea I can share about this, yeah, I'm welcome to that too. So please the floor is open to everyone now. You have a question, you see something I don't understand, you think we should have done it this way. I'm open to that too. So please, yeah, and that's the end of our box primarily. Yes, but the floor is open to questions, confusions, understanding, explanations, contributions. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So sure most of you may be wondering why. Like when you see when we got to the part where we are trying to get the log files, right? Most of you may be wondering why we tried LFI over there. Now, anytime you want to download something from a server, right? The server has to, or the server program has to locate where the file is and then help you or download that particular file onto your PC, right? So what we are abusing here is that the server is picking the whole name that we are providing it, right? It's not sanitizing the input. It's just picking the name of the file we are giving it, looking on the file system and trying to find that particular file. So what's happening here is that we decided to provide it input that will change the directory in which it looks for that particular file we want, right? So we use LFI. We abused that using LFI. We went like I think 2 or 3 directories backwards, and then we hit the root directory, and then we were able to go into the etc directory and then get the password file. So now the vulnerability over here is that like the person just or the developer just trusted user input, right? They didn't really check user input to see whether like the input that was coming was valid, right? And because of that, we're able to abuse that, and then we're able to download other files from the system or like get other files from the system. Now, about the privilege escalation thing. So anytime you run sudo on a machine, right? What sudo helps you to do is basically to be able to run commands as another user, right? So if let's say we have like 4 or 5 users on the PC, right? If I can use sudo to run a command as another user on the PC. Now the reason why this is necessary is because let's say you want to execute some command, but in another user's context. Like for example, you are currently running maybe on the James user, right? But then it's only the John user that has the ability to be able to perform some action on the machine, right? You use sudo to be able to do that, right? So that's what sudo basically helps you to do. So with sudo, you can also run commands as the root user. Now, the root user is the user with the highest privileges on the PC, right? On the Linux machine. So our main aim as attackers is that we want to get access to the root user, right? So one thing we can do is that, like, while enumerating the machine, while trying to escalate privileges, right? We can use the sudo tag-l, right? Now, this is going to do is that it's going to view the sudo privileges that we have. The -l means like list the privileges that we have, right? So it will list all the privileges we have. Now, when Benis ran that, you realize that we had the permission to run the nice binary, but then when you check the users that we are allowed to run it as, you can see that it's all like we can run it as basically any user, right? Which means we can also run that particular binary as what root. Now, anytime you run a particular application in Linux, right, it runs in the context of that particular user, right? So if I use the James user to run, let's say, if I use the James user to run Python, right, it runs as the James user, right? So it has all the privileges of the James user, right? So what's happening over here is that if you can find a way to abuse the nice program while running it as the root user, we would be able to spawn like, or be able to run another program or be able to gain the privileges of the root user, right? I don't know. Are there any questions? All right, so let me just proceed, right?
Yeah.
So the vulnerability over here is that the person didn't like specify a directory where files can be run from, right? That's what the person should have done, but the person placed the wildcard over there. Now, anytime you place a wildcard somewhere, it means that you are specifying like a whole range of stuff you can put over there, like a wildcard, like let me see if I can explain a wildcard better. So with a wildcard, like it stands for, or like it can represent a whole range of characters. It doesn't just represent one particular character. So for example, if you write a sentence, or if you've ever done Google Docking before, right, and you use a wildcard, it means that that particular portion of the text can be represented by anything. So that's what's happening over here. It means that particular portion of that the path, or the path can be represented by anything. So what we can do is that we can abuse this feature. Now in Linux, you already know how to like go back some number of directories, right? So would abuse that feature to actually go back into our root directory and then select the file that we want to run. Now you realize that with the sudo command over there, like we have the privilege to run it from some specific directory, right? So it has to resemble that particular sudo command. I don't know if I had the opportunity, I'll demonstrate. I don't know if Dennis can share his screen. So I highlight that particular thing. Or if all right, let me just explain it, right? But just let me know if you don't get what I'm saying. So you realize that they've provided a path where you can run the binary from, right? You can't just run it from any particular directory, or you can't just use the binary to run a script in any other directory than what has been provided in the sudo command, right? So we want to use the directory directory traversal trick, right, to be able to go back some number of directories and then run our script, right? Now, the program that we run over here is bash, so we just went back I think 2 directories or so. Yeah, and then we were able to locate the root directory, and then we selected the bash program, and then it got run as the root user, and that is why we got the shell as the root user. Are there any questions?
Thank you for the add up, Maxim.
No, don't mention.
Are there any questions for us, any suggestion, or any volunteer for next week? We'll be happy to get a volunteer.
Can we suggest a volunteer?
Oh yes, Jeffrey, can I suggest?
Okay, Phoenix. I'm suggesting Phoenix.
Phoenix, excellent, bro, excellent.
Phoenix left.
Okay,
Right.
Phoenix is out of the meeting.
He just left.
Okay.
Can I suggest?
Okay, Phoenix is out. So please, who wants to volunteer?
I'm going to contact him right now. He'll do it.
Okay. All right, thank you. Come again, Fred.
I said I would like to suggest someone.
Oh, okay. You want to suggest someone? Who's that? That's welcome.
I don't know if you know him. He's called Heavy Ghost.
Heavy Ghost.
Yeah, we know him.
Yeah.
Ghost.
Oh, okay. Next time you can pass that one on to Heavy Ghost too. Just tell him that he has a appointee, an appointment with the people here. Okay.
But then,
Wait,
like,
is that all?
anyone could do it, right? Anyone can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, anyone.
Oh, yeah, Phoenix is back here. Phoenix. So we want a volunteer for next week. Like, you just pick any box or any particular topic in ethical hacking, cybersecurity, and then you discuss with that. What do you see?
If people are mentioning his name, Enoch, I guess, okay. I think you were.
I'm not too sure if I can make it, but I mean, if I can, I'll let you know, Maxim, and then we can arrange that.
Okay, sure. So can we take that as a yes?
It's a yes. It's a yes. He doesn't need to say it's a yes. It's a yes.
Okay, people are suggesting people in the chat too. Who is
Joe
Joe
Brookins.
Brookins? Who's that? I don't know. We have
21
people.
minds. That's 21.
21 minds. Okay. Elliot Anderson. Okay, we are getting more people to volunteer. Yeah.
Let's check it.
Fred, by the way, you are picking people. Why don't you volunteer for us next week? It looks like you are good. You can help us.
No, please, I'm not good.
Okay, so let me just make the thing more attractive, right? Like, in the cybersecurity industry, right? It's really necessary that you're able to sell yourself, right? So an opportunity like this is like very, very good because we'll put the video on YouTube, and then you would have your LinkedIn credentials and whatever in the description. Plus, we'll also put your nickname over there. I mean, it will be cool to have something like that, right?
Yeah, sure. That's good.
Yeah. So I think the ones we've done so far, we've uploaded all of them, and like, I mean, it's really cool that you can actually go somewhere and be like, oh, I was part of By Time sessions. I presented on this and this and this. That shows that you have the skill, right? That's maybe if you're going to apply for a job, or like maybe in an interview and they're asking you about your experience. You can just bring this, like, and tell them that, oh, you one time you helped with presenting a session on this particular topic at By Time session. You understand? That's the alone boost it. And then there's also evidence of you doing that. So any more volunteers over here? I want volunteers from this place, right?
We want volunteers from this place.
Okay, for me, like I've been saying, I'm always on standby. So in case, I think this week we are done with classes, and the next week is examination. So after that one, I'll get time. So in case Phoenix doesn't come through or Ghost doesn't come to them, you let me know. So, okay.
Okay, boss.
That's wonderful.
Last one standing.
Well, why is that you guys? Why is the rest of you don't want to volunteer? Fred, you are not saying anything. Alex,
Actually, I don't know. I don't work on the boss, so
You don't
I
work
don't
on
actually know any stuff. Yeah.
yeah. You see, the thing is that you don't have
I used to play with Trialchemy. I'm used to playing with Trialchemy. So
try hacking. Exactly. Someone has. If I think the last machine Troy worked on was that Jeffrey worked on was this thing, a machine from Try Hacking. Like, it shouldn't be from Hack the Box, or it could be from any platform. Like, it could be any cybersecurity topic you want to discuss with us. It doesn't have to be like a box that you are going to hack, guys.
okay.
Yeah.
Even the box I worked on today was not from Hack the Boss, so it should be fine.
Okay. But I'm missing your post. They are from the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you guys try the web challenges we put in the group? Like, has any of you tried any of the web challenges we put in the group?
You have what challenges uploaded now?
No, not now. Like, I'm talking of the ones we've done like previously.
Oh, okay.
Wow, I would like to join a lab group.
You're not in the the Discord.
I'm in a good. Okay, Discord. Okay, I'll join later.
Okay, cool. So we have a Discord channel, right, where we put some challenges, and then we just learn about cybersecurity together. Right? So if you're interested, we can just drop the link. Let me see if I can get the link for you. I'll drop it in the chat. So you can join By Time sessions.
Okay, you can drop it.
Alright.
But Sam, it looks like Mr. Alex, this is the first time of joining us. I really want to know. I'm curious about him. So yeah, I'm really curious about him. I want to know him. Mr. Alex.
Yeah. So
Alex,
how did you find out? Like, what exactly?
How did you find us?
Yeah, interested in knowing that.
I'm really curious about him. Oh, Mr. Alex.
I mean, he doesn't want to speak, so.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe it's an introvert like hello. Yes, hello, Mr. Alex.
Hello.
Right, so,
Yes. So I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so I found a link posted in one of Philip Jimenez group. So I was part of Philip Jimenez group, and then they posted that link. So I just followed it.
It's bringing you people to us.